I wouldn't be surprised if, they bring him in there in a wheelchair or something. Oh, look at my sympathetic, sick old defendant. Don't condemn him to a box for the rest of his life. Certainly, a defense team is using Weinstein's ailing health to make pleas for sympathy. I wouldn't be surprised if, they bring him in there in a wheelchair or something and make him look extra decrepit or what have you. That would not be surprising because, look, you're dealing with human beings on that jury. They're observing the defendant, they're making perceptions, they're drawing judgments regarding the defendant. And if the defense can sort of score some points by saying, oh, look at my sympathetic, sick old defendant, don't condemn him to a box for the rest of his life, that's an argument defense might make. Social and political dynamics, or let me say it this way. The courtroom is not somehow insulated from social and political dynamics, from things that are going on in the culture and in the world. And so it's important to be mindful of course, the Me Too movement and how that could be harmful to Harvey Weinstein's case. But there has also been, like you said, from some prominent folks, a departure from perhaps how people viewed the Me Too movement when it first started in comparison to how they view it now. Like you said, Joe Rogan and Candace Owens, some folks have come forward suggesting that Weinstein may be having been treated unfairly in this. And so will that possible public shift regarding Me Too affect the trial in a way that benefits Weinstein? It could. With the Me Too movement emerging in the late 2010s, that gave an increased awareness to folks about sexual assault, about sexual coercion, about people being taken advantage of, including in the entertainment industry, by rich and powerful folks with a lot of resources. That is a direct theme of this Weinstein case. And so surely those notions are going to be swirling around in the minds of jurors, whether they're advised to think about them or not. That being said, I think the Me Too movement has been around for several years now. Perhaps some might argue that it has lost momentum, or is at least not as present in the public consciousness as it was in, say, 2017. Will that somehow inure to the benefit of Weinstein? It's possible. The government is going to present a lot of the same evidence that it already presented in the first trial, in which they were able to secure convictions. That will include testimony from two victims who testified in the first trial. They're going to recount their experiences of what they claim was unlawful sexual contact and sexual assault. In addition, there will be some new evidence as well. The prosecution has added a third victim who was not present at the first trial. So that sort of buttresses the state's case in arguing that Mr. Weinstein is guilty of sexual assault. Additionally, there will be a new expert, it appears, at least according to the government, that is really a sexual assault and trauma expert in the field of psychology. This person, my understanding, is going to testify about why there would be delayed reporting, or why alleged victims would still keep in contact with their abusers, and just sort of circumstances that take place within the sexual assault context that might seem counterintuitive and that a jury might not understand without an expert's help.